All right, welcome back to The Explainer. So before we lace up our hiking boots and start climbing today, I've got to give a quick shout out to Cert Fuel, who actually brought you this explainer. If you're studying for the Series 3 right now, seriously, go check them out at certfuel.com. They've got a complete course with these awesome adaptive study quizzes, smart flashcards, and unlimited practice exams that are weighted exactly like the real test. It is literally a lifesaver for making this stuff actually stick in your brain. Anyway, let's jump right in.
Okay, we're going to kick things off with a trick question today. I want you to really think about this. If interest rates are climbing out there in the real world, what actually happens to Treasury futures prices? Like, do they go up or do they go down? Lock your answer in right now. I'm telling you, almost everyone gets this wrong on their first try because, well, our brains just love to take shortcuts. But don't worry, we're going to completely rewire that shortcut today.
But to actually answer that question, we gotta set up the playing field first. Enter the yield curve. What is it? Basically, it's just a single line on a graph. It plots out how yields, which is really just a fancy word for interest rates, change on bonds of the exact same credit quality as you look across different maturities. We're talking moving from short-term all the way out to long-term. And since we're dealing with interest rate futures here, the only curve we really care about today is the U.S. Treasury curve.
Now, I do not want you just staring at some boring line on a graph, okay? Let's make this real. I want you to picture this curve as an actual physical landscape. And right there, standing at the trailhead, is our guy, Trey, the Treasury trader. You know Trey, he's zipping up his incredibly overpriced corporate fleece vest, getting ready to hike across these maturities, starting down in the short-term foothills and trekking all the way up to those long-term peaks. Just watch his hike because it's going to tell us absolutely everything we need to know for the exam. All right, first up, Trey is facing the positive or normal yield curve. Now, this is a literal uphill climb. On this positive slope, long-term rates are sitting way higher than short-term rates. This is your everyday standard shape. It's exactly what you'd expect to see when the market is healthy and humming along. So why does it actually slope up? Well, think about lenders. Lenders are exactly like tired hikers. They absolutely refuse to tie up their money for 10 whole years unless they're handed a massive, oversized yield sandwich at the summit as a reward for taking on that extra time and risk. So when lenders are demanding that extra yield and Trey's hike is moving uphill, that signals economic expansion. It means normal, stable conditions. Okay, hold up. Pattern interrupt. Let's pause the explainer for a second. I really want you to test your instincts here. On an inverted curve, does Trey get higher rates on the short end or the long end? Take a beat. Seriously, what does your gut tell you?
Boom. The answer is short-term rates are higher. That means our buddy Trey is now literally hiking downhill. The short-term rates start way up high, and as he walks out further into those long-term maturities, the rates actually start dropping off.
Which brings us to a massive exam trap. Listen to me very closely here, because the test writers absolutely love to bait you with this. Do not flip the inverted curve in your head. The classic trap tries to trick you into thinking that an inverted curve somehow means long-term rates are on top. No way, absolutely not. Short-term rates are the higher ones here. It is definitely a downward slope. Let's put this side by side to really drive home the danger. On one side, we've got the fake exam answer trying to convince you long-term is higher. On the other side, reality, a downhill slope where short rates start high and long rates sit way lower. Why does this even happen? Well, investors expect long-term rates to fall in the future, right? So they accept lower yields right now just to lock in those longer maturities before things get worse. That downhill slope, that is the market bracing for impact. It is a super reliable warning signal that a recession is coming.
Eventually, Trey is going to hit a plateau. We call this the flat yield curve. On a flat curve, the short-term and long-term rates are roughly equal, so the line just kind of sits there, pretty level. When Trey finds himself just walking on flat ground, that signals market uncertainty. Usually it's a transition phase, right? Like the curve is shifting from normal to inverted, or maybe the other way around. The market is basically just holding its breath.
Okay, so how do we actually keep all these straight on test day without panicking? Let's hold all three side by side right here. A normal curve means an upward slope and economic expansion. An inverted curve means a downward slope and serves as a major recession warning. And a flat curve means it's roughly level, signaling uncertainty or transition. Just match the shape to the signal, and you are going to completely crush these questions.
Now, this right here is the ultimate payoff for this entire unit. Once you know how to read where rates are headed based on the curve, you automatically know where interest rate futures prices are going. Why? Because of the inverse relationship. Interest rate futures prices move exactly opposite to interest rates, period. Think about it. If prevailing rates climb
An existing bond's fixed coupon is suddenly worth less, so its price drops. And the futures price? It drops right along with it.
I want you to memorize this exact phrase. Like, read it out loud with me right now. Seesaw. Push one end up and the other drops. Rates up, prices down. Rates down, prices up. They never point the same way. Seriously, do not try to invent your own clever analogy for this on the test. Stick to the seesaw. It is completely foolproof.
Let's actually map out the exact sequence for Trey the trader when he's looking at the market. Step 1, Trey expects rates to rise. Step 2, relying on our trusty seesaw, he knows interest rate futures prices have to fall. Step 3, falling prices mean the market is acting bearish. Step 4, what does a bearish trader do? They go short. See how one piece of logic just flows perfectly into the next? Now let's flip the whole thing around. Step 1, Trey expects rates to fall. Step 2, the seesaw tilts the exact opposite way, meaning futures prices rise. Step 3, rising prices are definitely bullish. Step 4, so our trader goes long. It is totally mechanical once you get the hang of it.
All right, wrapping this up brings us to our final and honestly probably the most dangerous exam trap. Look, rising rates might intuitively sound like more, right? And our brains naturally want to associate more with a bullish trend. But for these futures, higher rates mean lower prices, period. Therefore, expecting rates to rise is mathematically, undeniably a bearish move. Don't let them trick you on that.
So, knowing that the seesaw never points the same way, I'm going to leave you with a final thought to ponder. If the yield curve suddenly steepens into this massive uphill climb and rates just surge higher, are you going long or short on Treasury futures to survive test day? Picture that seesaw, trace the logic steps we just did, and you'll have your answer. All right, thanks so much for hanging out and watching. Keep up the practicing, and I will catch you in the next explainer.